That's what I see when I see women farming, is poetry.
Hello, and welcome to the Farmhouse. I'm Candace Worsbowski.
And I'm Stephanie Spiker. And today we have a big announcement. We won't keep you in suspense. The fact of the matter is, this is going to be our last Farmhouse episode, at least for the foreseeable future.
We're both so grateful that we've been able to do this. When we set out on this project, we knew that we wanted to elevate the voices of women in agriculture, because the fact of the matter is, this is a group of people that aren't heard from as much as they should be.
Throughout this show, we've gotten to speak with all kinds of women in ag. Farmers, yes, but also educators, advocates, influencers, and researchers. It's been amazing hearing so many stories about how all these women have found a seat at the table in agriculture.
And finding, or at times fighting for, a seat at that table is something that has come up a lot in our conversations with these women. It's one of a few things, actually, that we seem to come back to over and over again.
So we thought for this last episode that we should talk about these themes that kept coming up, and who better to help us think about these themes than our guests. So we're going to be hearing again from some of the women we talked to as we consider the key thesis of this show, which is, what does it mean to be a woman in ag?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is empowerment.
A friend said to me, 2 years ago, she said, "Michelle, you're a badass." And I was like, what? And then I was like, wait a minute, I am a badass. And I think that it's okay for a woman to be tough and strong and capable, and that can all be beautiful and good.
So that was Michelle Elston, and I think it's interesting that she's expressing several points here. One, she's a powerful person, but it took someone else prompting her to realize this, which indicates that it's not just female farmers who think they're amazing. They do have fans.
Including us.
Yes. But also that, there is strength, but there is also beauty, and it's this amazing dichotomy that exists for a lot of women out there. We heard that from many of the women that we talked to. In fact, here's Megan Bogle.
It was really empowering to be like, wow, I can learn a whole new thing, in my 40s and learn how to do farming and learn how to do cheese making and learn how to do all that kind of stuff.
She's not the only farmer we talked to when it came to farming as a second career. It can be intimidating, but they were able to step up to the challenge. And it's important they do because the face of ag is shifting. It kind of needs to. The 2022 USDA Ag Census said that 38% of farmers are older than 65, and only 9% are younger than 35. So we need younger farmers, and we need more female farmers. And here's Ashley Asdell with her thoughts on this.
I think that the perspective that women bring to the agriculture field is kind of sorely needed. There's a big generational change happening here. The average American farmer, the average American New Jersey farmer is very old. It's like a national security emergency. So, women have to step up, and we're here. And I think that the community is open for it, and we have the skills to do it.
So according to the 2022 census, only 36% of farmers are women. But I'm excited to see that number change. And when the next census comes around in a couple years, hopefully that number will be even higher. And if you're out there and thinking about taking up farming, just know that you've got a lot of empowered women ready to cheer you on. Here's Danielle Wainwright.
We can make these hard decisions. It's being done. It's going to continue to be done. Just this male-dominated industry, I feel like, is maybe cracking a little bit and letting us in there and just showing that we can do it. And it's an awesome time. I'm very proud to be a woman in ag. I'm proud to be a farmer. I'm proud to be active on social media and show other younger women that are coming up through college, whatever aspect they're going, that it can be done. And don't listen to the naysayers. Go kick ass.
I feel like being a woman in ag is still looked upon as unusual. I feel like we, meaning society, are still fighting the stigma of that stupid picture with the man with the pitchfork and the woman with the bun.
Yep.
Listen, I wear my hair in a bun, but I'm in jeans and a sweatshirt as often as I can be. I'm on the tractor, and it's still to this day odd for people to see at least in our area.
That was Liza Getz, and she's talking about a reality that a lot of the women we spoke to have experienced. Like we said, only 36% of farmers are women, and that number doesn't reflect everyone working in ag, but it's still a looming figure, one might say. The reality is that being a woman in ag means challenging gender norms and being okay with sometimes being the only woman in the room. It means being okay with surprising people, which can lead to some humorous situations. Here's Amy Marciano.
I will say that I get a lot of sideways looks on the road when I'm driving my F-250 with 200 bales of hay on it, and you can't even see out the rear of my truck, and guys at a red light are like, wait, that's a girl. It's crazy. A lot of men, especially old school farmers in the country, are like not expecting to see a chick doing that stuff. So it's pretty fun.
I'm sure it helps to have a sense of humor about it. You almost have to. How many women did we talk to who had stories about people assuming it was their husbands who owned the farm or their husbands who had purchased the tractor?
All too common of a tale, that's for sure.
Yeah. So being a woman in ag means that solely by existing, you are challenging people's expectations and changing minds. Here's Lindsay Eshelman.
That to me is the beauty of being a woman in agriculture, right? We get to surprise everyone. We can be the strongest working on the farm and surprise everyone. We can be the face of something and surprise everyone. We, as women in agriculture, get to be the plot twist.
And it's important that we keep challenging those norms because that sort of thinking starts early, as Andrea Davis-Satina can attest.
This past spring, I get an email from the second grade teacher inviting me to career day to, talk about being a farmer and stuff. And so I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll do that. So I make up this little PowerPoint for some second graders. And my first slide is a picture of me in the field. And it says, I am a farmer, and it has my name. And still, so many of the kids were I think there was even one kid that said, well, farmers are boys.
That is wild to me that as young as second grade, kids already have preconceived notions of where women fit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a very dangerous thing to get too stuck into. But of course, times are changing. The number of women in ag is going up. In the 2012 ag census, only 30% of farmers were women. So, it's creeping up there, slowly but surely. And women who have been in ag for a while have noticed that times are changing. Here's Kathy Smith talking about entering the forestry industry.
There weren't a lot of women. I even had a professor at the time when I was applying for jobs saying, oh, don't apply to them because they won't hire women. I can honestly say that's changed. I actually now probably work with more women in the field than I do men sometimes.
I think it's pretty clear that most farmers love what they do because they have a connection to both the land and their animals. But it kind of feels like there is a special connection between women farmers and the earth. I mean, it's called Mother Nature for a reason, right?
Yep.
And I think Lulu Redder from Feral Woman Farm explained that innate connection perfectly.
We bring so much, I think, to the table. We bring this really soulful connection to the earth and the plants and the animals. And, we're bringing our humanity to this production system. I think without women in a production system, you might lose some of that soul and some of that respect and some of the dignity we give the earth.
A soulful connection to the earth is just something beautiful, that's for sure. But it's really not just the land where women have a really unique connection.
We bring this element of care and attention to our farms that I think we are ingrained in this life cycle. And I think that is the best thing about being a female farmer is just my care and attention to our animals is where I think I strive as a female.
That was livestock farmer Casey Wish talking about caring for animals being ingrained in women. And as a whole, caring for living things is something that women in agriculture do so well. Agriculture is a special community. Farmers are always willing to help each other up the ladder. I mean, as they say, a high tide lifts all boats. But community seems almost amplified when it comes to women in agriculture, especially women working together on the farm.
It's fun, it's deep, it's, we're able to like get mad and cry and be frustrated, but also laugh. And I just feel like there's more space for the emotions that come up with farming or in, any challenging situation, and also the joys that go with it. But there's just a little more ease having it be all women.
Crying, frustration, laughter, joy. I love how Emma DeLong and the women on her produce farm get to feel all of their emotions together while working what is honestly a pretty challenging career that is farming.
It is nice when you're, in that safe space.
Yes.
You're able just to truly be yourself, like you said, with all the feelings.
Every feel. And honestly, I think a farm full of women not only means you get to do all the emotion, but you also get to do all of the tasks, no matter what they are. Like on the farm my very own sister, Katie Spiker, works at.
Well, I feel pretty lucky to work on a farm that is almost entirely like female-bodied people. And so there's like never the assumption that our one male coworker is like the guy who drives the tractor, right? Like there's 6 of us who drive the tractor and 5 of us are not men. So I feel super lucky to work in an environment where there's not like an assumption of gender roles with those kind of like tasks that perhaps in other places would be more challenging to like step up and take on as a woman.
It seems that women-owned farms have a tendency to really attract other women farmers. Katie was saying they only have one guy really on the farm, mostly women.
Yeah.
And that little attraction of other women to your farm is what also happens at Michelle Elston's flower farm.
We are actually a largely woman-powered farm. We don't exclusively hire women. It just kind of keeps happening here at Roots. And all are welcome. I want to be crystal clear on that. But we do seem to attract these just real badass women. And I think there's like this really fun camaraderie that emerges when, you have 15,000 transplants to plant by hand in a morning and you think you're going to die, but you do it with this team of 5 mighty women, and it just feels so good.
I love the phrase team of mighty women.
I do too.
So awesome.
I mean, even outside of agriculture, I think women and community really go hand in hand. But it really feels like those hands of community are even stronger when you're working on the farm.
Right.
To be a woman in agriculture, to me, is to join a heritage of hardworking people. So I think women have always been involved in agricultural pursuits in some way or another. So it's gratifying to be a part of that lineage.
That was Brittany Peachy, and she's speaking to the fact that when you're a woman in ag, you're not just in good company, you are joining a history of strong women. Because let's face it, for as long as there have been farms, there have been women working on those farms. They may not always consider themselves farmers, and really, who can blame them? Because it wasn't until 1978 that the USDA actually started counting women as farmers. We weren't alive then, but our mothers were.
Exactly.
So it is not that long ago. And because of that, still to this day, we still hear from women that they're just the farmer's wife. And yet they're out there doing barn chores, feeding animals, managing finances. And we've asked the question several times on this show, when does the farmer's wife become the farmer? Because they are doing the work, and often a whole lot more besides, which opens the door to how, we still have a ways to go to support female farmers who are often in charge of a lot more than just what's happening on the farm.
As long as there's been agriculture, there's been women and there's been men. Like that's always been that way. But the extent to which we have thought about the particular needs of women, the extent to which we have made room for them to have the same opportunity than men have been very different.
That was Florence Picot. And she's right. Women who farm are often also still handling the bulk of the domestic responsibilities. Mm-hmm. It's hard work. Farming is hard work. Being a woman can be hard work. But there's no reason to be afraid of it because it's worth it and it's needed. We need women to join this tradition of women in agriculture. I'm reminded of one of the women from Audra Mulkern's documentary Women's Work who said, "Come over to the dirty side. It's called Mother Nature for a reason." Clearly, that's one of our favorite quotes that we've ever come across here.
I want it on a shirt, honestly.
Same.
I really would wear that.
Same. Here's Krista Barfield, who I think sums it up nicely.
Yes. Being a woman in ag means empowerment for me. And it's not just for me, it's also empowerment for the next generation. And it is also making our ancestors proud. Like, all of us need to understand that when I say there were farmers in our lineage, the farmers were women. Like, the farmers in our lineages, all of ours, were women. They are the traditional farmers. And so this is, men showed up on the scene a little bit later. They were kind of the helpmates to the women when it came to agriculture. So this is really us taking back our rightful place in history and moving forward and pushing forward towards what our destiny truly is.
So as we've already talked about, the average age of farmers is not exactly young. It's 58. That means it's imperative to look toward the ones who will be farming next. And it seems like women in ag are often the ones that are really looking forward, and they make great role models to that next generation.
Being a woman in ag means taking seriously my responsibility for the next generation. I know what it's like to be the only woman in the room. And I want to make sure that every person who's in the room feels like they can step up to the table and have their voice be heard.
That was Hannah Smith from PASA Sustainable Agriculture. And PASA, I think, actually attracts a lot of female farmers because we had another farmer from PASA, Lindsay Shapiro, on our show. And she works really, really hard to make sure that her daughters see everything that a woman can do on the farm.
Yeah, after I had kids and they, were old enough to say things, they started calling the tractors daddy's tractors. And I was like, wait a second.
Can't have that.
I can't have that. And so it really became important to me for my girls to understand that, I was just as capable about doing the tractor operation as their dad. And that, they as girls are just as capable of doing things that are traditionally ascribed as male-dominated things.
And Denise Bosworth, she's the fourth generation on her family's farm, meaning she grew up watching farming, just like Lindsay's daughters are doing now. And Denise really knows how important it is to get children involved in agriculture and show them that it's a valid career path for everyone.
If we want kids to be part of agriculture now and in the future, we have to represent it well. We can't be grumpy, miserable people complaining all the time about our equipment breaking down and our stressful life and all that kind of stuff. That may be true, but those are pieces of a puzzle. And so I think being a woman in agriculture is standing on a platform saying agriculture is an important industry on many levels, but it's also very important that we represent it well.
I think it's clear that it's not uncommon for women in ag to be the only woman in the room.
Mm-hmm. Sadly.
Yeah. But many of those women who had to be the only women in the room are working really hard to add in space for more women to join them.
Honestly, I think sometimes still it means being a really great role model and a trailblazer for the younger generation. So I've been in this industry for about 20 years now. And until recently, I was always the youngest at the table. I was one of the few females at the table. And, most of my mentors that I was looking up to were these older guys who had been here forever, and I'm like, man, I'm tired of this. I want the younger generation to be in. And then when I was teaching at Del Val, and I remember seeing I would get more girls in my class every year. And I was like, oh gosh, this is so good. And now I see them out doing great things in the world.
That was Penn State Extension educator Crystal Snyder. And I just can't imagine. I'm sure seeing those women that you mentored in ag now doing their own big things in the ag space, it must be one of the best rewards for the many women role models out there. So Let's hope that the ag industry tables are soon filled with even more women making a difference and having their voices heard.
And so here we are at the end of all things. I don't know if a Tolkien quote is the best to use here, but yes, we've come to the end, at least for now. And it's been an amazing journey. We've been so honored to talk to and learn from so many different women in ag. Their journeys have been all over the place. Their current occupations are all over the place. And it really speaks to how wide and diverse the ag arena really is. And it's just been really incredible to elevate the voices of the women who are working in it.
I concur, and I think on a more personal level for our journey, it's been really fun to kind of step out of our own comfort zones and host this podcast. And I have just immensely enjoyed talking to every single woman that I've been able to talk to during this show. And I've learned so much. I've had so many laughs. I've had a few cries. It's just, like Emma DeLong had said, it's all the emotions at once because it's all women together and we're allowed to feel how we feel. And right now, I currently feel all of the emotions at once.
I do too. Oh man. Because it's been a journey for us as well. I remember how, we'll just say awkward we were.
So sorry for those early episodes, everyone.
Thanks for sticking with us, those of you who have.
Yeah.
All right. And so with that, I think it's time to close up the farmhouse for now. Of course, this is a show where we champion women in ag and we, give a platform to their voices. Obviously, you've been hearing Steph's voice and my voice, and we're women too. But we did want to give a word of thanks to the two men who also work on this show, Eric Herlock, our producer, and Justin Berger, who mixes and edits the show. I guess it's time to let them out of the farmhouse basement once and for all and set them free.
For now.
But before we go, we're going to hear one more time from our very first farmhouse guest, Shelby Watson-Hampton. It seems fitting that she was the first, and now she will be the last.
Like, for millennia, women have shown up and done the work and tried to figure out how to balance it all. And I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever quite figure it out, but we are doing it together. And that's what's important. It's the village. It's when you're not alone in it. You have other people to lean on. You have folks to talk to.
It has been an honor getting to be some of the folks that these women have talked to. Thank you again, and good luck out there, ladies.
All right, and that wraps it up for us. Thank you all for listening all this time. We've appreciated your support, and if now or in the future you'd like to continue supporting us by leaving a review for this podcast, we'd still very much appreciate it.
If you have any final thoughts that you would want to share with us, you are still more than welcome to email us at farmhouse@lancasterfarming.com.
You can also find us on social media at Lancaster Farming on most platforms. And guess what? You can still hear Steph and I, if you miss us, on two of Lancaster Farming's other podcasts, Super Smart Farm Show and Farmer Wants a Wife After Party. So check those out if you're interested.
Thank you again for spending so much time with us at the farmhouse. We have loved having you here. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Candace.
And it was great talking with you.
Bye.
This episode of The Farmhouse is copyright 2026 by Lancaster Farming Newspaper, part of the Steinman Communications family.
It was written by Stephanie Spiker and Candace Rosbowski. It was produced by Eric Herlock. It was mixed by Justin Berger. Original music by Eric Herlock with additional music by Blue Dot Sessions.